Oh, we start now. Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. Ding, ding. I am here with my boy CJ. I'm here with my cousin Jason. We're going to give you an hour, probably less than an hour. We got a lot to cover, boxing-wise. A lot of things going on. This weekend was supposed to be, which is still the big fight, but that's been kind of overshadowed by a couple of things. One, the Ryan Garcia positive test and De La Hoya's personal vendetta against Canelo. So let's start out with the Ryan thing. CJ, your thoughts about what's going on with the positive tests, the fallout from it. What do you fellas think about this? I know we kind of talked it up a little bit yesterday, but now we can get into a deep deal of it.
The first thing I saw today when I woke up on Sports Center was Devin Haney in an interview talking about did he feel anything different from Ryan Garcia? Was it something that he wasn't expecting? Does he feel like Ryan Garcia cheated? And of course, he definitely felt everything different. He said he knew at some point early in the fight that Ryan Garcia must have been doing something different. I don't know where he came up with that from, but that's pretty much what he's supposed to do in the same way that Ryan is denying it.
Exactly.
All the way. So, I don't know, man. You bring Victor Conte into the mix. You know, these guys in boxing are still messing around with that guy. You know, what do you expect to happen if you let that guy around long enough?
Exactly. I mean, he's a known PED trainer. I have no idea why he's still involved with professional athletes. I understand if they just want to use him from a consulting standpoint, but for him to actively be involved with the training and anything that he says, I mean, whether it's true or not, it's still kind of shady. Jason, what are your thoughts about Ryan failing the drug test?
Yeah, I really think I hate when boxers leave space for doubt in their decisions. Like, your narrative is already based on, opinions. It was already a close fight. People already doubted Ryan and thought he was unprofessional,
right.
Questioned his, dedication to the game. And now we get not only coming in overweight, not only drinking on the scale. It's like you're gonna pop dirty too. Like,
exactly.
You're ruining the respect that people could get from him.
Yeah, because he got a lot of people doubted him. It was a really good fight. He turned in probably a career performance, and now everything is messed up. But do you know what? There's one thing that he said. I'm not defending, but it was just something he said. He said, "Okay, I got tested before. Why is it suddenly I'm dirty now?" Now, for what I've heard, this particular test that he took, it takes like 7 to 10 days for the results to come in. Is that true or not? You guys know. And if that's the case, what I don't understand is why don't they do Olympic style drug testing? And if the last test is within that range, why don't they do it so much more earlier? Therefore, you will get the result earlier, as opposed to doing it and then like now you got the result, and it's just kind of like it's after the fact. It's not protecting the fighters, and it doesn't really seem like anybody's really caring about drug testing because it's not Olympic style drug testing where you can get tested at any particular time. A lot of people don't know this either. I was telling CJ this. A lot of times the fighters will sign up for the fight and they will dictate when the drug testing is supposed to start. So if you were using, you can indicate when to cycle off and when to cycle on.
True indeed. I think the nature of boxing right now, the nature of the business is that once these big names dictate the direction of boxing, they realize that they have leverage over the promoters. They have leverage over the sanctioning bodies because, maybe 2% of the boxing game is going to make $1 million a fight.
True.
We're pushing forward the game. These people need you. And Ryan's actions showed that he knew he had a leverage there. I'm not even speaking about the pop and dirty. I'm talking about just how he moved, how he didn't care about making weight, and he said it brazenly. Like, I don't care about your rules. I don't care about what punishment you have because you need me.
True.
Like, there's only so many fighters who can move forward these big fights, who can bring that many eyes to the sport. and I feel like they wield their power at will. Like you might have people who fight once a year, once every 2 years. They're wielding their leverage as they wish.
But you know who does have more power than the fighter? But I don't really think they care that much. I'm not about to say about the promoters or the sanctioning bodies, the outlets or the platforms, meaning like TV, the big name. If you decided and you just said to yourself, we're not going to put this type of dirty product up there, then where are they going to go?
Yeah,
sure. So that would be one way to leverage it if they cared. But yeah, that's the reason why I also not naming names. That's another reason I told CJ the other day that I believe a lot of fighters don't fight. They fight twice a year because of cycling. I really don't buy the inactivity, as a lot of people say. Guys only fight like twice a year. There's some guys who wants to fight 4 times a year, but there's a lot of guys there. To me, there's a reason why they don't fight as often as they do. But I don't want to bog down. You got anything else to say in this matter, TJ? Because I don't want to bog it down too much with Ryan.
I'm just thinking about what Jason said about these guys in 2024, man. You're absolutely right, man. 2024, Ryan Garcia is like one step up from a Jake Paul at this point. You know, he's an internet star, independent of boxing. Independent of boxing, he's going to get the bag, period. And the fact that he can bring that to the fight game and bring in those fans and bring in that money, they're going to put up with a lot of shit from this guy. They desire. They're going to put up with stuff from him. He doesn't seem to care about it. The boxing community at large doesn't seem like they really care about it all that much either, to tell you the truth. I don't see any uproar about Ryan Garcia testing positive. I don't see any uproar. My understanding was they knew he tested positive before the fight, and they let the fight go on.
That's true. Well, here's another thing. The last thing. What do you think his punishment is going to be? If you guys had to just take a guess.
He may get a suspension that may be 3 or 4 months, which he was going to be off anyway.
Yeah, because he hasn't fought in a year.
Right.
He hasn't fought in a year. So it's not like these guys fight twice a year. So when they do that, it's just kind of like, oh, okay. I'm not fighting anyway. So
he's taking an extended vacation, man.
Exactly.
And I think the last thing they want is you see these fighters saying, I don't want to fight for this belt. I don't want to fight for that body. I don't want to fight for this strap.
Yeah, you know what?
Those are the people that are putting up the punishment. So it's
you know what? He has did that because he didn't fight. He didn't fight for no belt against Taker. He didn't fight for no belt. He basically said F the belt because he knew he was going to come in overweight.
Right.
Sure.
So he didn't really care about that. And then I don't know if I talked to you, whoever it was, I was like, the 1.5 million, he was right. It didn't matter. How much he made for this? Like 35 million for this fight or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it was just like, that's less than 10%. That's 10% than what he wanted. And here's the thing. I'm not trying to blame Haney or anything, but with the exception of the dirtiness, once you accept the terms of the engagement, to me, then that's on your camp and whatever the contract is. Like, you should be more strenuous with the testing. That's how Canelo got popped. Because when Triple G did it, they made the testing so much more earlier. And that's how they caught him. So I agree with CJ saying, I don't really think anybody truly cares about this. I think Nonito Donaire, I remember he was doing it every year around. He put it on his own dime. A lot of these guys don't care about the testing. They say they care. But, it's not surprising. It's disappointing because it was an exciting fight, but it's not surprising. Shifting gears really quick. I know with the big fight we have this weekend, how do you guys feel how some of these ex-promoters seem to be trying to overshine their current fighters or, as opposed to promoting the fight, they seem like they're so much involved. I don't ever remember Don King getting into it with a fighter. De La Hoya just, what is this? Any opinions about this? I mean, what's going on? It's just like, dude, you should be promoting Jamie. And it doesn't matter what this guy is saying. Just move forward. Though he do know you better than a lot of other people because you was his promoter. So, any opinions about this?
Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, for sure. I'm thinking like you look. Boxing is going through a transition. Boxing was on Saturday morning TV, Saturday night TV. It was on regular TV for years. We went from that model to the premium cable networks. We went from that model to the pay-per-views, and now it's like, however you can garner views, we're going to take it. And boxing is really just following the money 100%. I'm not surprised. It looks like a wrestling model. If you talk about the biggest boxer in the game right now in terms of bringing in revenue, I'm thinking Jake Paul. And he don't even care about the sport. He's not even what we would deem a true professional boxing. And he's bringing in the views. So I think people are just following that bottom line so heavily now that it's, in a way, it waters down the product. For the purists like ourselves, it waters down what we expect out of the fight. But the viewing public wants blood. The viewing public, like the casual fans, want to see a war. They want to see anger.
But do you think they really want to see De La Hoya and Canelo like at a press conference?
Yes.
For sure. I guarantee Munguia ain't gonna do it. I guarantee Munguia is not telling his fight. I guarantee you. It's not gonna be Jamie at all. Got you.
Yeah, because Jamie's just kind of just sitting back, and it's just like, this is kind of ridiculous, man. It's just like, promote the fight. I mean, I remember when Adrian Broner went off on Leonard Elby, and Leonard was like, "It's not about me." He was like, "You got a great show," and he's just moving forward. De La Hoya has been thoroughly unprofessional to me, and the shots he's taking at him and all of this. It's like, dude, promote Jamie. This is Jamie's opportunity. Promote the fight. It's not about you. Let it go. It just seems like sometimes these fighters, some of these ex-fighters who are promoters or advisors, seem to be jealous of guys who may surpass them as some type of historical accomplishment.
That's the old heads of every sport, man. There's always those guys that are going to be around that always can't stand the new contracts, the new shine.
Yeah, but some of those guys are not promoters. So, it's not like ex-football players are the owners of teams and they're coming out there slinging mud. He's a promoter. If he was a fighter, I wouldn't really care then. But it's like, dude, you're a promoter. Promote. You're not promoting. You're not promoting the fight. Well, I don't know. Maybe guess he is. If people are like really into it. So yeah, it's just a little ridiculous.
We're not far removed from the days of Don King. I don't want us to forget that. Like this is part of the game. You promote how you can promote. They'll promote bloodlust. They'll promote racial tension. They'll promote whatever it takes to get people to get their butts in the ring. I mean, in the arena. That's what they're going to want to push. And people have a much shorter attention span now. People aren't following boxers full lifespans. They don't have tens of millions of Instagram followers. They want 3-second snippets. Like, show me why I should be interested in this commercial break. You better show me why I should be interested. And I feel like people are understanding that. This is the public that they want to draw. The difference between Tank and another fighter who may have a belt is not the diehard fans. It's that the casual base.
That's true.
He knows how to get
Well,
them.
you know what? That is true, because that is what the sport should be trying to get, because those are the people who turn box office. It's the casual fan.
Oh, absolutely.
As opposed to the hardcore fans like ourselves.
Yeah. They already got our money. They know they have our money. They know they're going to get in my pocket. They know that. They want that money they haven't gotten before. They want the money from women. They want the money from, the young people. They want to draw people in. They can't get rid of us. They know they got us.
Yeah, that's true.
They're moving on.
That is true. Speaking of fractured relationships, Derek James and Errol Spence. Unfortunately, this seems to be the thing. I mean, it always, just my opinion, it always seems to come down to money when it deals with the trainers. Well, I think I have the most thankless job in boxing. In the beginning, 10% is always good until the fighters start making 7 figures, and suddenly it's a flat fee. Now, I don't know what the particulars are going on with their thing, but it always seems to be that. And to do a handshake agreement, I mean, there's only one boxer who's ever honored that, and that was Marvin Hagler. No one else honors that. Like, it's still a business. You still have to understand that. So it's kind of sad. I hate seeing this type of stuff because they accomplish so much together, but now it's fractured, and they're suing, and the other person's suing, and it's just kind of, how do you guys feel about that? I mean, that case in particular, or just in general when you see this type of stuff that goes on?
I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me as much as it bothers some people, especially once they get lawyers involved. Once they get lawyers involved, I'm cool. You know, I don't want to hear all the back and forth and all that. You got a money problem with somebody, take them to court, get your money. You know.
Gotcha, Jason.
Yeah, to me, I feel like it's part of the game. We've seen it happen. You get these guys who, you're going from amateurs to stardom. You're fighting 4 times a year. You need a trainer to be there. The trainer is giving you the discipline. The trainer understands what it takes to get to a level that you haven't seen before. So you get to that point. And then once they get to that superstardom level, they feel like there's nothing else to teach a lot of times. And I hate the fact that relationships, just in general, can kind of die off like that. You feel like you don't need a person anymore. But if you don't need them, then let them go beforehand.
That's true.
Like, and the court will determine what's right and what's not in this case. But I just, for the two of them, I feel like Errol was a great champion, and he still has a ton of talent. He can still get back to where he was. But like, I think Derek was instrumental in that. Derek played a big role in getting him to where he is now. And for there to be these types of misunderstandings, I feel like it's just, as a man, I hate to see it.
Yeah, I do too.
The misunderstanding is that he won't pay him, right? I mean, that's what he's saying.
It seems a little confusing because Errol has admitted that he paid him $2.5 million, but then they start talking about the pay-per-view revenue. I guess that's extra bonuses, and I guess he's saying his overall, whatever he brings in overall from a fight, he's supposed to get. And it seems like Errol is saying, no, my base salary is what you get. So I guess, what fighters get a base and then they get the pay-per-view revenue, like the buys.
Right.
It appears that Derek is basically saying, I supposed to get that part too. Mm. And when they have a handshake agreement, it's like, okay, you didn't put it in. And then when you have a text message, apparently someone said, I didn't pay you everything. That's just, I don't know. I agree. I hate seeing this. I figure we'll touch on it because people probably all have opinions about it. But it's kind of weird. So let's go to a different thing as opposed to a fractured relationship, a brand new one that's together. Boots Enos signing with Eddie Hearns. Like it, don't like it, think it's going to help him, and if it does, where does it lead him?
I think it's clear why he did it. He did it for the bag. I think it's very clear. There's no reason an American fighter who fights American opponents for the most part is going to want to get an overseas promoter unless there was some financial incentive. And we've seen Devin Haney take this route. We've seen Regis Prograis take this route. We've seen several people chase that bag. And I'm not mad at it. They're prize fighters at the end of the day. Is he going to push his career forward in a way that speaks to a greater legacy? I can't guarantee that, but I know he's going to get you a bag.
He's going to keep him active. His first fight under Eddie's in Philly. Yeah. He's never fought in Philadelphia, which is crazy. He says he's a Philadelphia fighter. That's interesting. I think he will keep him active. I don't know where he goes, but there's nothing wrong with the money. Eddie's you're gonna get paid. I mean, they do get paid well, and he does seem to keep him active.
I mean, we hear over and over again that Boots isn't going to get the fights that he wants here in America. He's not.
I don't think he's going to get.
He's not getting Crawford.
No, he's not going to. Fight, that's not happening.
He's got a couple years. He can spin his wheels and make money.
If you guys were leading him, and that was your charge, how would you go about it business-wise for him at 147? CJ?
It's tough, man. I mean, there aren't a lot of fights out there that are going to be competitive fights for him. They're just not.
No, that's true. But I mean, what would you do to try, I guess, to enhance or showcase him? Or, I mean, activity is one, I think, because he hasn't been active.
He's got to get in the ring. I mean,
true.
He got to be in the ring at least 2 to 3 times a year.
Yeah. And I'll say, Philly is one of the biggest fan bases in the country. When you talk about rabid fans, Philadelphia is one of the first places you'll name. And one of the great things that Errol Spence did is he connected himself with Jerry Jones and the Cowboys.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's almost incumbent on fighters now to become a part of a bigger narrative. You need to make yourself attached to some of these, nationwide brands. The Philadelphia Eagles, you know what I'm saying? The 76ers. Don't just go and pay for front row seats for a game and wave and call it a day. Like, befriend the player or something. Befriend the owner. You know what I mean? Like, ingratiate yourself into the public. Philly has the most famous boxing statue in the country. Like, one of the most famous boxing cities in the world.
That's true.
Like, you can globalize that. If everybody doesn't know you, everybody knows Rocky. I don't know how to make that connection.
Do you think you could showcase his talent as opposed to necessarily the opponents? And what I mean by that is he does have an exciting style. I mean, he's not looking for decisions. So, I mean, if you make him more active, hypothetically, if he fights 4 times a year and you just see his talent, can they because I'm not comparing him to this particular fighter. But I remember when Roy's talent was so great that people just wanted to see him fight as opposed
It's not enough. It's not enough in 2024. It's not enough to be great. It just isn't.
He's been great to this point. Yeah, he's been great.
Exactly.
Boots been great. We've been talking about Boots for 3 years.
True. But he hasn't been as active as you would like.
Yeah, I think one of my examples would be like a Gary Russell Jr. And not even talking about activity.
Gary fights like Gary
like knockout in 2 straight years.
But Gary fights like Haley's Comet though. He'll fight 1 year and you just never see him again. No, he's a super talented dude. I think he was like the best. I think he was the best in his division once Lomachenko left, but he just couldn't get. He couldn't get out of the fight, which you know how.
And what I'm talking about is what he wants, what Terrence Crawford is just getting to now. Like, right. You don't want to spend a whole career fighting to get that crossover fight. Like, you don't want to have people be able to put you on the shelf. You want to have you want to build your own fan base. The promoters ain't really doing it. Like, I don't think Boots is going to become beloved in the UK. You know what I mean? Like, he might get him some fights over there,
I don't know,
but at the same time, it's like you got to get your base bigger.
If he smoked Conor big, he may get big in the UK. I'm joking. No, he doesn't have like. I think what he needs to do is overpay. What is it? Barrios is the champion. I think Santina's the Lithuanian. Both of those dudes are champions. I don't think they've ever had big paydays. Get him massive paydays. Get him in the ring. Give him massive paydays. Before Haney got beat up, I was saying maybe he should wait for the dudes at 140, and maybe he can lure them up. Now, there's one person I think he could lure up, but I don't think his dad's gonna want that smoke. You know, and that would be Teofimo Lopez. They're not gonna fight. They're not gonna fight him.
Teofimo's dad ain't gonna want it. I was
right.
gonna say, Boots' dad would love that.
No, Boots will love it. Boots will love it. I remember when Ryan, I don't know if you guys saw the clip, he's talking to Eddie and all that. He was like, well, who do you got? And he mentioned Boots, and his dad was like, no, it's okay. We all good. So I think he needs to follow the Marvin Hagler, Bernard Hopkins, Terrence Crawford route. Fight the best guys available, overpay, but be exciting while you do it. I don't know if he'll become a global superstar, but he'll make a lot of money. He'll be unified. Because I think the guy he should have been fighting, it should have been Virgil Ortiz, but, you know, all the things happened to Virgil. I thought that was a natural thing. But I don't know if he's ever going to fight him at 154. By the time he probably gets to 154, Virgil may move on. And Virgil has a tough fight coming up. So we have to see how that plays itself out.
I don't think Boots is that far from 54, man. He's a big kid, man.
No, he is. But I think he's probably gonna stay because I think if he moves to 154, I think he's gonna have the same situation he got at 147. Like, I don't think those guys are gonna. But if he gets the belts and he moves to 154, he can become an automatic contender. I think it's the WBO. You become automatic. You get that shot. Yeah. So I just think he needs to try to strike while the iron is hot at 147, gather as many belts he can, look exciting doing it, and then move his way up. Because I do believe there's the meat on the bone is at 154. But I think he has to show that he can also draw. Like you said, be homegrown. Do what Terrence did. Do what he did. He had a
for
lot
sure.
of and Eddie has money and he will overpay. At least that's what he should. Because the guys down there, they're not Spencer's at 154. He's not gonna get that fight. Crawford's at 154. He's not getting that fight. He has to fight the guy. I don't think they're gonna let him fight Virgil. I've always thought he'd smoke Virgil.
For sure.
I still think that 147, 154. I think he smokes him. Like,
the issue is just the names. Like, we spent all this time talking about Terrence and Errol, and they cleaned out the division both ways.
Exactly.
They cleaned it out.
Exactly.
So now the next crop, it needs to be a whole new next crop. Like, it doesn't make sense to fight a Danny Garcia. It doesn't make sense to fight.
And Danny's gonna fight at 154 now, or it's 160 or something like that.
Sure.
So yeah.
But all those guys are still hanging around, but they won't fight anybody, man. It's so weird. Keith Thurman is still out there floating around.
Yeah, he is. He was supposedly they're not. They just waiting around, get that last bit of money, and they're gonna move on.
For sure, man.
But you know who's not moving on? That kid from Japan, Inoue, who fights Monday of all days. I think everybody's gonna be up for that. What do you guys think about him as a fighter? And what do you think about the fight that he has with Luis Nery coming up?
I don't think a lot about the fight coming up. I just don't. I've seen this guy fight twice. I'm not impressed at all. We all pretty much know what's going to happen. The thing that's bothering me about Inoue right now, man, is that this might be one of the biggest tragedies in boxing right now, man, that this guy would never get his due. Not the way he deserves. He will never get it. And, when guys want to have their whole career overseas in their own home country and they want to fight like that, you can't hate it. You can't hate that.
I mean, he's fought abroad. He's been to America. I think he's fought in America 3 times. That world boxing thing. I think he fought in England. He smoked all those, dude. His problem is he fights at 108 to 122. Now we know who he is. But all these other people, he cleaned up. What is he been unified twice? He's undisputed twice.
Right, he's undisputed twice, 4-division champion, and he does not get the credit he's supposed to get. That Steve Fulton fight, people just kind of poo-poo that away, man. Like he just beat up some scrub. That should have been like a Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard type fight as far as like hype. That's the kind of quality that fight was, man. And people don't even talk about it. When last time you saw Steve Fulton?
Never again.
But you really don't see any of Inoue's guys later when he fight. He's the only dude, Jason, besides Crawford, who puts dudes on retirement. And Arthur Beterbiev. He's another dude. Those are the top 3 dudes who I consider the top 3 fighters. Put them in whatever order.
Yeah.
Who after they fight dudes go on long extended vacations and retirements.
You need people to forget your last performance. Like, you need people to forget what you last did. You need to forget what you last did. Like, you need to talk with God.
Yeah, I thought his fight with Fulton was going to be a little bit more competitive than that. And he put Stevie in a trunk. But you know what? That says a lot about the greatness of Nonito Donaire, who's the only dude to really challenge him in that first fight. Even though I did think it was a clear, but Nonito was the only dude that had him on the brink. So I
feel like what he brings to the table is so unique. Like, the power is devastating to begin with. So if he just had power alone, he had enough to be a world champion. But his pace, his tempo, the way he moves in and out is so not what we see in American gyms. It's so not.
You know what? Also, speed, his accuracy. He's a total
package.
Yeah, he's a total package.
He's not lacking for anything. The only thing I think that would be his vulnerability is that he's young and he don't like getting hurt. If he gets hit, he wants to jump right back in, and you can catch him because he's going to he'll get into a firefight. He wants to show that he's the boss in the ring.
True.
But I haven't seen anybody really be able to capitalize on that.
The only one is Donaire. Donaire is the only one.
He's young in fights. He's got 26 fights, I think, 25 or 26. I mean, that's not a lot for
the game.
For a guy across 4 divisions. Been in 4 divisions, but he's 31 years old. I mean, he's not.
Oh,
He's not young.
Well,
That's
but you know what though? It seems like he's young though because of what you're saying with the number of fights.
Yeah, just because we're not hearing about him.
You're
right about that.
If he was 147 pounder, his career would be completely different.
He was an American fighter, period.
That's true, but I'm talking about specifically at welterweight because that's more of a glamour division. Like you guys know it, but you be on social media and guys be like, "Well, who has he fought?" And it's like, dude, he's fought world champions. Just because you guys don't know the lower weight divisions, that's your problem. That's not his problem. But yeah, he has been besides Crawford and probably Arthur. That dude's been.
And he's a star overseas. Like,
they're gonna have 55,000.
He's a star. When you go to Japan, he's a huge star over there. He doesn't plan on moving over here anytime soon. I feel like, there's a level of complacency that you can get, a level of comfort you can get. American stars don't want to go to Japan and be the man. Mm-hmm. So it's like, why would it be different for them? You know what I mean?
I don't hate on him for doing that.
No, I don't. And the thing is this. He came here. There's no one to draw him here. Like, it's not like it's a big time name that's a big draw for him to come here. He is the draw.
Not just that, but what's the expectation supposed to be now, that guy? Like you said, man, he cleaned out 108, 112, 115, 122. So what, he's supposed to go to 26 and clean out 26? And then what?
No, you know what I would like to see him do? I mean, just because I agree with you, he's cleaned it out. I wouldn't mind if he had, like, I don't know, several title defenses. That's about the only thing left for me. Because I think if he continues to go up in weight, eventually that physicality is going to show. Like you can only go so far because he's not. Yeah, go ahead.
Even at 126, what are you talking about? Like Lee Williamson or what? I mean,
no, I didn't necessarily say.
Yeah.
I don't know any of the dudes, but I always think of
Lee Wood.
There's a guy that's going to be too big for you. And it's just a physical because a lot of those dudes. I'm talking to somebody the other day. They was like, "Man, he should go to lightweight." I said, "Are you kidding? This dude started at 108. What are you talking about?" I'm like, them dudes at 135 walk around at like 150. That's just too big for him,
right?
And I'm like, it's not his fault. You don't know other people in lower weight divisions. You guys should know if you in the boxing, find out about all the divisions. Don't just assume you just know certain divisions. It's like you guys know welterweight, heavyweight, and lightweight. And that's it. And you guys,
I would hate to see him going up and down and up and down.
Yeah, I don't want to see that either. Yeah, I don't want to see that either.
Somebody on the internet was talking about him trying to fight Bam Rodriguez, and I was like, why? So he can kill Bam Rodriguez?
Bro, he'll smoke Bam.
No, I was like, what are you talking about?
He'll.
Hold on, I like Bam, man. I love Bam.
I love Bam too.
Hold on now, I like Bam.
He'll smoke
Bam.
He'll smoke Bam. He'll smoke Bam. Not now. Not now. But you know what? I think his big fight that I think he missed would have been him and Chocolatito at one point. They was kind of like in the same division. I mean, it was only there for maybe a year, but that was like a huge opportunity. But he outgrew the division, meaning
and he's just looking for names right now. Like Donaire was the biggest name he could find. And he got him. Everybody, even Fulton's somebody who we know as, real fans, but Fulton wasn't a household name at all.
No, he was just a big boxer. And he was a champion. He was a champion.
Right. He was a champion, and he was willing to go to Japan. I think there's not much more. Like, I mean, he's going to continue to fight, obviously. And Luis Nery has a name. And Luis Nery has put on some exciting performances.
That's true.
But is he in the same caliber as Inoue? I don't think so. Personally, I think he has some skills. I think Inoue is going to have to deal with combinations that he hasn't. If Nery could get off, if he feels comfortable going into the fire, Nery has some combinations that could make Inoue uncomfortable. But it's just the punch resistance. I don't know if he has it. And Nery is more of a hookish fighter.
That's gonna be his downfall.
Come on, yeah.
And he doesn't like it to the body at all. I mean,
not at all.
I'm gonna be bold. I think he's gonna stop him under 5 rounds or less.
That's fair.
anything Nery does, he does. But actually, I think Inoue is a very good defensive fighter. He just chooses to go after you because you can see his reflexes, but he just chooses to go after you. And when you're a killer, you're obviously going to get hit. Do you guys think he's the best fighter in the world?
You already know what I'm going to say, man. I don't even know why you do me like that.
Hey, everybody don't know you. Everybody don't know you. So I'm just saying.
Come
do you
on,
think
man.
Hey,
people have spoken. Go ahead.
Hey, who do you think is he the best fighter in the world? All right, we're gonna wait for Jason. CJ, do you think he's the best fighter in the world?
He's the second best fighter in the world.
All right, who's the best fighter? I guess
you know the best fighter in the world is the best fighter.
I know the guy in Japan. That's who I think is the best fighter. Jason will tell you. I've told him that I think Inoue is the best fighter.
I give it to you. You've been beating this man's drum for like 3 years. 3 years.
I think it's been a little longer than that. I've known you longer than 3 years, but yeah, I think he's the best fighter in the world. But,
yeah, I mean, I think he's super talented.
I have no problems if someone else thinks Terrence Crawford is, because I think Crawford is.
I think Terrence Crawford is.
But I also don't have a problem if people thought Arthur Benavidez, who I don't think gets talked about enough as far as the top 3 fighter.
I think when it comes to and I'm not a big fan of top 10 lists. I'm not a big fan of comparing people outside divisions. However, when you compare these lists, you have to like Benavidez is a great, not Benavidez, Benavidez.
Benavidez, yeah, because I guessed his name, but that was me.
Right. He's a great, he's powerful, great offensively, but he doesn't have the defensive capabilities that Inoue and Terrence Crawford does. He's a well-schooled boxer, but he gets hit. He's been hit multiple times.
Hold on, I think his defense is a little bit better than that. Don't make him sound like he's a Toro Gotti.
I'm talking about Terrence Crawford. Now you're talking about Terrence Bud Crawford.
No, I get that. Like that. No, I get that. But what I'm saying is, I look at it 2 ways when you look at the pound for pound thing. I agree with you what you're saying. I look at accomplishments. I think all 3 of them have really separated themselves from the rest of the pack. Like in my opinion, like they have fought world class fighters, all 3 of these guys, and have reduced them to looking like pedestrians. Like I know you're the only person I know that predicted the way the Crawford Spence fight would went. CJ said this. He made Spence look like he didn't even know how to fight.
Yeah.
And the guys that Inoue has did, like, I don't see them. Arthur stepped on the nail. I don't know where Marcus Brown is. Like the last time I saw, they was rolling his body out. That dude, if he wasn't fight, it's like, you know what, guys, when I look at all 3 of those guys, it looked like if they wasn't fighting, they would be like in some John Wick movie. They all look like they're all straight killers. They all got skills, but they are not there to go to a decision. And if they do go to a decision, it's just going to be a terrible beating for you.
You're going to pay for it.
Yeah, all 3 of them are a little different, but they separate the pack. I think all of them are underrated their boxing ability. I think all of them are underrated as far as the way they go about their business. And I think they're underrated about their resume. Because I think all 3 resumes are very strong. It's just that all 3 of them are so good, they make all the other guys look like, oh, who is he? Oh, I'm sorry. It's just a world champion that this guy just stepped on and destroyed. Like, so I flip a coin to me. I mean, I like Inoue, but I think all 3 of them could be number 1 in my opinion. They may not have all, I mean, Arthur may not be as defensive, but man, his footwork, he doesn't get hit clean all the time. A lot of people say he gets hit. I'm like, okay, he's gotten caught, but you also got to look at his age. It's just like this dude is he's a really, really good fighter.
It's good. I'm surprised you didn't throw. You got 2-weight division champion Inoue, 2-weight division undisputed champion Crawford. I'm surprised you didn't throw unified heavyweight champion of the world Usyk in there. Like, Usyk is a dog too. Just because he's not knocking people out, Usyk got game, man. Like
he can be number 4.
Come on, he's up there too. I
said he can be number 4.
He's up there. I think
number 4 is up there. Is it number 4 up there? Oh, you want to replace him?
Yeah, give it a BM.
All right, you know what?
So he only fought at 75, man. I ain't know him.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And Arthur, hold on, and Arthur only fought him in the amateurs, so that says a lot about him. No, I'm biased with this. I like killers.
Yeah.
Like, so I do have a little bit of a bias. I mean, Usyk does have a legitimate claim. And here's something for you. I'm favoring him to beat Tyson Fury.
I think he has a real shot. He
I
got a
think
real shot.
At one point, I thought Fury would dirty box him, but that last performance, oh my, I don't know.
Tyson, if Tyson's gonna win, he's gonna win with physicality. Like he's not gonna win with the slick boxing. He's not gonna win with the distance is gonna be the jab, and then if Usyk needs to come in, it's gonna be raw physicality. Like I'm gonna lean on you.
Yeah, but I'm wondering. I told CJ this. I think after that fight with Wilder, I wonder about his punch resistance. Fury, that is. Like I think he took a lot of punishment. Like maybe not a Turo Gotti punishment, but he was taking punishment for a heavyweight he's knocked out everybody he's ever fought. Of course, he got up and he took it again. I just wonder about. I know people say he didn't train as hard. He probably didn't, but the punch resistance thing to me was a bother. But Tyson has proven Fury has proven people wrong before, but I'm leaning towards Usyk. I'll give it 60-40 now. At one point, you know me, I was very Fury until that last, and I was like, oh my. I'm not throwing to say he can't win, but I just wonder about his ability to take a punch now. It's just that just didn't look good to me. Like he fought a novice, and it was like I don't think it was as close, but it was always like it just looked like he was just pushed over the edge. And I don't think you do that with the guy you're about to face on and coming up. He's going to be very, very locked in. So yeah, but I'll give Usyk all his credit. I just like Arthur a little bit more because I like killers.
That's fair.
CJ?
No, I agree with you, man. Arthur Better BF has like uncommon like destructive power. He just does, and he's at that weight where guys are super fast and super strong. You know what I mean? That 175 to 185 area, we run into those guys sometimes that are just, you know, like young Holyfield was just a destroyer.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
it's that strong safety weight. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so let's get into the big fight for this weekend. First, let's just talk about both fighters. Do you think this is Jamie's catching Canelo at the right time, or do you think people talking about Canelo has eroded? Do you think that's a little bit more exaggerated than what may be there? I don't think he's the same guy who maybe fought Triple G, but I don't know if he's eroded as a lot of people are saying.
I think this is the best time to catch him. I don't feel like Canelo is not on the ascent when it comes to his career, but that doesn't stop him from being an elite counterpuncher, having an elite timing, and having real power that hurts. Like he's been in these wars so many times. I think he's slowed down. We've seen him slow down, and the people that really can make him pay for that are the seasoned vets, I think. But Munguia brings youth. I keep calling people young. He's been fighting for a while, 55.
But he is young though, isn't he? What is he? 20, 26?
He's 27.
27? Yeah. So I think he is young.
4 years younger than Canelo. Yeah, I mean, he ain't a ton younger than Canelo. But
yeah, you know what? Yeah, but that's in boxing terms because Canelo got like 60 fights. So it's
true.
He does have a lot of fights.
And I think this is the stage that he's been waiting for. This is another opponent for Canelo. This is the stage he's been waiting for, and he does have an offensive repertoire that I feel like could be problematic if Canelo lets him get off.
In what way? Off the bounce, his legs, or just the combinations themselves?
Munguia's not. I don't see him as like a classically trained fighter. He's a boxer. He's a fighter. He wants to hit you when you're not being hit. He'll throw 6, 7, 8 punch combinations with no rhyme or reason behind him. Like he's just raw aggression. And I think that if you let those people gain steam, if you let them build up, they can become a problem because some of those punches are going to land. Even if you block them, they're going to get through. You're going to feel them after amount of time. And I feel like his stamina, how many punches he throws, if you don't defensively kind of befuddle him and just let him throw the combinations he wants to throw,
Mm-hmm.
He's a big kid. Like, he could hurt you.
Yeah, he's 6 foot, man. He's a big kid. Canelo's last 4 fights, all to a decision.
Come on.
So,
Yeah, true. But Charlo wasn't engaging him.
That's not Canelo's fault or anyway. That's just how the fight went.
Right.
Canelo's not finishing dudes like he used to.
Yeah.
And he's having problems with these bigger guys.
But do you think Jamie is that much bigger? Because he started at 154?
He's 6 feet tall and he's making weight. So
I think he's bigger, but yeah.
I mean,
all right. Okay.
I hate trying to shit on people sometimes, but 168 was a sweet spot for Canelo to land. It just was. I mean, a lot of those guys that were holding those belts at 168, man, that they all cleaned out. These guys never thought they had a chance against Canelo. You can tell by the way they fought him. They got in the ring.
That's true. I mean, I think they were all good fighters, but
I'm not saying they're.
No, I didn't say that. I do think they were all good fighters, but I didn't really see a guy kind of trying to dare to be great.
Exactly.
I thought Caleb had a chance
Till he got hit.
Yeah, until I started hearing him. You respect my boxing skill? I was like, what? What are you doing? I was like, it's a fight. This ain't tennis. This not basketball. Do you think that's a possibility though with Jamie's youthful aggression that could be his undoing?
I think that more than likely. I mean, I watched 2 of his fights this past week.
Mm-hmm.
He gets himself out of position, man. Like you said, throwing those punches in bunches and ends up out of position. And because he's hitting guys aren't counter punching him. But that's not Canelo. I mean, he's not fighting Canelo. I mean, he's 43 and whatever he is, and he has not fought Canelo one time.
Never.
I mean, that's an entirely different thing when you get in the ring with a professional like Canelo. I mean,
who does have good defense, and I think he has.
I
think one part of his craft is underrated is his chin. I think his chin is very.
The world knows, man. Like, it may not be the first thing you enter the conversation with when it comes to Canelo, but none of his opponents go in questioning his chin. Like, Canelo has stellar defense, and his timing is impeccable. Like, for somebody who doesn't care, and like CJ said, like, I've seen Munguia he'll get excited and just throw whatever. Like, he'll get excited and lead with his chin, and it's like, come on, man. Like, this man will take your head off, and especially.
I mean, Canelo, only thing about Canelo more now, he's a little bit more methodical as opposed to the guy who fought Triple G, who used to throw more combinations. I think he's less.
I don't even think you need combinations. Munguia is going to put himself on the plate.
Oh, no, I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you. I think, and you know what? I have a feeling Munguia may be leading at one point because of activity. But
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I do agree he's a big kid. I just wonder about the chin.
I've seen Munguia get hit 1 too many times in my liking. When it comes to somebody who I want to see as a viable opponent, like, it's going to be fun, but this might be the time when Canelo gets back in that KO category. I think he stops the streak right here because Munguia is just so aggressive it's just recklessly aggressive. And it works with people who are overwhelmed by your offense. But Canelo's everything. Canelo's seen every style you could bring to the table. He's not going to be surprised by that.
And not just every style, the highest quality of every style.
Do you think he's going to see Oscar De La Hoya's face when he beat that Jamie? I mean, it just seemed like that at the press conference where he was just like, "Oh, you're going to see something." It just, I feel bad. I think I like Jamie, but I do wonder if this is a major step up for him.
For sure. And they've been building, right? The momentum to this fight on the Golden Boy side is 3-4 years running. Like,
I think they should have got him in with some other people before he got to this point.
This is intentional. Like, I don't want you to not intentional. He skipped all the names. He's had a belt for a minute. He's had opportunities for belts for a minute. This isn't new. Like, he's been groomed to be in this position. To fight on Cinco de Mayo versus Canelo, yes. This was the game plan for his career. Like, this is his payday. He avoided the toughest competition. He fought enough fringe contenders that he can be a reputable name.
Yeah.
And now,
he beat Ryder down, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, he beat him worse than Canelo beat him. Really?
Way worse. Way worse.
I think he beat Derevchenko too, didn't he?
He beat Derevchenko for sure.
Yeah.
It was a close fight. It was a closer fight. But he's beating names. He's beating real names. For sure. So you can't be mad at him.
Didn't Devchenko hurt him bad in that fight?
Early in the fight.
Yeah, he hurt him pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
He just couldn't capitalize on it. That's where I was looking at. It was like, okay. But that was a good moment. He overcame it. And he did what he had to do. I was gonna say predictions, but I think you guys are pretty much stating your predictions of how you think this is gonna play out.
I think it's gonna be exciting, man. Like, honestly,
I do think it's gonna be an exciting fight.
He definitely strikes me as a go out on his shield kind of guy.
I think it's gonna be a very exciting fight. Yeah. I do wonder though because we've seen these kind of situations where it's the youthful guy. He's super aggressive versus the veteran who is very way advanced in his craft, and the guy who's the younger one just takes a career beating. I've seen Duran do it. I think it was against Davey Boy Moore. See Joe Cal do it against Jeff Lacey. So I'm just telling me that the same thing's gonna happen. I think it's not. I think it's gonna be very exciting. But I hope they train it because Canelo may not throw as many, but them shots are very thuddy.
I think Munguia was put in very carefully, man. I think you look at Derevchenko, you look at Ryder. They're both boxers. Mm-hmm. Neither one of them really want to take your head off with one punch. Mm-hmm. Munguia's been put in with guys who Rosado, these dudes. They're craftsmen. They're not out here to one punch KO you. And Canelo, that's his bag right now.
Yeah, it is.
He's very defensive, and he's one of the greatest counter punchers in the game. That's what his claim to fame is. And he needs somebody who's gonna come forward so he can just punish him for that. I think that's what it
is. That's gonna be his undoing. It'll be the counter punching.
For sure.
Yeah, that's what I think so too. I think he's gonna lead too far, extend himself. But if his chin holds up, and if they have a different game plan, because he does have great legs, but I don't think he could box for 12 rounds because of his nature. But if they can get him to box and be on the move, I think he would have a chance. I just don't think he's gonna do it. I just don't see it. But I think Freddie's gonna give him a good game plan, but I think he's gonna abandon it once he gets hit. I think
we've seen game plans work with Canelo. Canelo's not an undefeated fighter. He's not a fighter who's gone unscathed. You can put on tape and see game plans that have been effective versus Canelo.
Who's instrumented those game plans?
Stellar fighters. At the lower weights, you've seen Lara. At the higher weights, you've seen Bivol. You've seen dudes. Caleb Plant had a game plan.
Lara is way levels above what Jamie is.
Yeah,
but Bivol way levels above what Jamie is.
But the game plan is just jab and don't let Canelo set.
Oh, I agree.
That's the game plan.
I think that's what it should be. I think you force him to pick his feet up and continue to maneuver him. Jamie has great legs. I just don't know if he can execute that for 12 rounds without getting himself wanting to get drawn into a war.
It'll be tough. Because I can see, I've watched Canelo many times. There's times when Canelo covers up and he has no intention to punch it back.
I agree.
Bivol unlocked that. He was like, you are covering up and you can't punch back. You're waiting to roll and throw. And if I don't let you get to your roll, then you can't throw. My jab is just longer than yours.
Right.
If you can teach that to him, that's something you could go over. They've known about this fight for months now.
True.
You just go over it just simply. At this range, he's in range. At that range, get out of dodge. If you can just teach him that, it's possible.
No, it is, because I do think he has a skill set for his activity, his legs. If he can do that, if they can instill that in him, he has a chance that he can pull it. I just agree with both of you. I just think sooner or later he's going to draw himself in because that's just who he is by nature. But
the fight we just saw, we were just talking about not too long ago, Fundora and Zoo. And it's like we had never seen that Fundora.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Because when he kept throwing the jab, I was like,
"Come on, who is this?"
I was like, who is it? Because he never does that. But he was able to do it. He did a great job and led him to victory. If Jamie does the same thing where he jabs, moves, keeps turning him, he can win. It won't be exciting, but it ain't about being exciting. It's about winning. And the chance, he'll be undisputed. It'd be a big man. It would be huge if he pulls this off. What type of chance do you give percentage-wise? Do you think he can? Or do you think he will? Not can, because I think he can do it. I don't know if he will do it.
To me, I give him. I like the youthful side of him, and I feel like Canelo's fall off is going to be steep. I don't feel like Canelo is going to go gracefully into the night because he's fighting dangerous fighters. He doesn't want to go out fighting C-level fighters, and he has power. So I think I give him maybe a 10% chance.
Okay.
Maybe a 10% chance because he just have to. We haven't seen that dedication. We've seen him improve his boxing skills, so he has improved since he's been at this higher level in terms of Munguia. I've seen him improve. It's just so far of a leap, and Canelo's such a master counterpuncher that it's just one mistake will cost you, and Canelo's waiting for one mistake all fight. So it's like you got to be perfect for 12 rounds. Canelo just needs one.
Gotcha. CJ?
If he were to win, it won't be because he did something extremely special. It'll be because Canelo isn't Canelo anymore.
All right, I got it.
It won't be the other way. And I agree. One day Canelo's going to be there, and the next day he's not. One day he's going to be great, and then 6 months later we're going to see him and be like, "Man, what happened to Canelo?" That's not the dude we remember. That's how he's going to drop, I think. I like the youthful side of it. I like a guy that goes in and he's not afraid to lay it all out there. That's a guy that has a chance. I'm like you, man. I'm in that 10 to 15% chance that he can pull this off. It's more than likely not going to happen, but it's possible.
Do you think he's willing to go to dark places though to do it if he gets hurt? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna go. You saw who was in his corner. You saw who's gonna be walking him to the ring. Like Oscar is gonna be in his ear after that press conference. I mean, what they built him up for. Like Oscar.
That's
come on.
Yeah,
man.
that's true. The only thing is I think Oscar was a fantastic fighter. I can't remember like super dark play. I guess the Corte fight that was pretty intense, but I don't know if it was as dark.
Fernando Vargas was a real one, man. Vargas,
you know what? The Vargas
awards, man.
The Vargas, that was general hate. You're right. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, because Vargas was trying to take his head.
Yeah, that was a dark place for both.
That was a dark place. The Tito fight was more tactical. You're right about the Vargas one. That was probably his, in my opinion, his best performance as far as I was concerned.
That's all grit. Like that's what you saw. That's all the heart he had. Like that was a 100%. You got to come with your heart on the table. Show me what you got.
That is true. I don't know. I agree. I'm gonna go with you, fellas. I agree. I don't know if Jamie is the guy that would be that. I think the guy that can is going to be fighting at 135 pounds. And I don't know if that guy's coming back down to 168. But we can talk about that later when his fight comes up. Any closing thoughts for...
Get Victor Conte out of boxing.
Come on.
It's on GP, man. Get him out of here, man. I don't even want to see his face.
Yeah, I agree.
Why does he have so much power and cachet, dude? They act like this dude is like.
You know what? Sometimes I wonder, are they doing this to give some false, like, sense? Oh, we really care. You know what I'm saying? Like, see, we're working with the guy that, we couldn't catch, but he's going to help us catch everybody, and it just comes off kind of weird.
Like the blacklist. Yeah.
It just, I agree with you. I don't think he should be involved in boxing or any form of professional sports. If he wants to do a consulting thing, all right, that's cool. But training, it just seems like you just giving this guy more knowledge to get by on even more on your test to me. And then every time he speaks, it's like from authoritative figure, and it's just like, why? Yeah, it's like, why would you?
To be honest, I don't want him consulting either. Like, get him out of here.
I agree. Hey, if you look now, John, he's got an interview on YouTube today where he's rebutting Ryan Garcia's claim that he had something to do with the testing. And he doesn't work for VADA anymore. But you got to know he's got connections. I mean, he's one of the people that helped institute the whole program. He is the architect of the VADA program. You know,
if anybody knows how to get around it, it would be him. Yeah, so I agree. They shouldn't have that. But boxing, man, is always gets in his way. Every time you think it's gonna progress, it gets in his way. So I agree with you. I don't think that should be the case. Also, I don't think any of the bans or anything they do is ever strong enough. Like they should really find out who is distributing the PEDs. That will clean it up. And I get tired of this. Oh, I ate it in a chicken. It was contaminated meat. It was peanuts. I don't know what anybody put in my body. It's just like, come on, man. If anybody's ever taken steroids or any type of drug, you take aspirin or anything you're not used to, you can tell what something is in your body. So it's basically saying some guy's just giving you supplements and you just okay with it. It's like, come on. Y'all know the difference. You know, we've seen it. We've seen guys who had bad performances and suddenly they just look like they're reborn. Or we see guys' bodies transform. I'm not going to name any names. Y'all can go and look and find out who it is. Y'all all probably have suspicions. So it's just, yeah, it's too bad because I love the sport of boxing so much. But it's just so, I don't know what I hate worse, the PEDs or the incompetent judges or incompetent refs. But I love the sport when it's at its best. When it's at its best, no sport is like it. But unfortunately, it's not always it.
We'll be here for, man. They got us all hooked.
For sure, dog. I mean, it is to me, it's the greatest sport. It's
at a very young age, will hook you.
Yeah, wait a minute. That's a good thing. What fight or when did you get hooked? When did you get hooked, Jason? What was it? What do you remember? Can you recall?
So I remember growing up not too far from Sugar Ray Leonard's gym.
Oh,
and
wow.
Yeah, I grew up not too far from Sugar Ray Leonard's gym, and Sugar Ray was a force in the DC area. He was like he was what was talked about. I mean, there was Mike Tyson and the buzz around him, but I felt like you could touch Sugar Ray Leonard.
That's what's up.
Yeah, just hearing about him in the Olympics. I was too young for the Olympic trials and all of that stuff. But seeing him come up, I saw him more around Leonard Hearn's time. Seeing that was electric to me. You know what I mean? Like, and just being in the city for that buzz, that's really what got me primed to, boxing. And it was more so kids just wanting to fight. So it wasn't really a fight, but it was Sugar Ray Leonard brought kids out to believe in boxing.
Oh, so it's the culture of it that
like turn the city out.
So is that the reason why you still root for so many DC fighters?
Oh, and I rep DC, man. That's just who I am. Pardon me. Let me introduce myself.
Gotcha.
I'm a DC fan first and foremost. But yeah, this ain't gonna be the last time you hear me talk about Gary Russell Jr. So get used to it. I love my town. I feel like we're tough people, and I feel like we put out some champions.
Just a side note, everyone. He's currently in like Illinois. He's not in DC right now.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But the same thing for me, man. I got that same story, man. Watching boxing with my granddad growing up, man. You know me, I'm a Detroit kid. And I got that same story about Sugar Ray Leonard, but from the other side of the coin with Tommy the Hitman Hearns.
Oh, wow, that's
funny. And having Tommy in the neighborhood and Tommy being around and everybody knowing who he is, this long, skinny dude, man, with this massive curl, and can't wait for the fight. And I saw that fight, man, and I saw Sugar Ray come back at the end and knock him out, man, and I was hooked. Hooked.
You know what? That's a great thing because mine's is kind of a combination of the two. I have 3 older brothers. My oldest brother was a big Tommy Hearns fan. I mean, he loved Tommy so much it felt like that was his brother, and we were just people he did. My brother under him was the biggest Sugar Ray Leonard fan, and so that when they fought, they took me. I'm like, I don't know, 6 or 7. And you know what? That fight happened on a weekday, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it wasn't like Saturday. So we're in the closed circuit, there's weed everywhere. And when Hearns got knocked out and stopped, my oldest brother act like he lost a relative. He didn't talk. He didn't talk. But they both talked about them when I was at a young age. They're building them up, and it felt like Godzilla versus King Kong. And the night that I'm watching, and it's this weed, and I'm this little kid. All these girls, and I was done. Yeah. That was a drug. I was after that. Every Saturday, I'm watching boxing, going to the gym, finding out what gym is in Chicago. Love the sport since then, and will continue with warts and all. Because when it's at its best, there's no other sport that's like boxing.
Oh man, come on! It'll change your life, man. It'll change your life. You buy in, man. Love it.
Yes, absolutely. Wait a minute. So you was a Leonard fan? Was CJ? Even though you used to hear about Hearns, was you a Hearns fan or?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he better not have said nothing else, man. Yeah.
I don't know what he was gonna say. So wait a minute. When he lost, how did that affect you?
Heartbreak, bruh. Heartbreak. Yeah, I mean, you heard the saying, "A whole city weeps," bruh.
Yeah. Well, you know what though? I wonder what's a worse loss, that one or the one against Hagler?
The one against Hagler is maybe one of the greatest losses of all. It's a loss you can take. It was a war. That's fight. Man, he beat Sugar Ray Leonard's ass that whole fight. I don't care what anybody says, man.
Oh, he was out. He was out boxing him. He was winning. He was winning the fight until Leonard hurt him.
Bro, let me tell you something.
When everything changed to me.
That fight stung the way that fight ended until Chavez beat Meldrick Taylor, and it wiped away the pain of that Leonard Hearns fight.
Yeah, my goodness.
Wait a minute. It wiped away the pain. So you was a big Chavez fan?
Yeah, no, I just saw someone lose in a more horrific way.
Oh,
yeah. Oh.
I guess. And you know what? I feel so bad for Meldrick Taylor because of everything that's happened. I thought he was robbed of such a big Richard still got on my list, man, forever since. Like, how do you rob that guy of that?
I was mad at Richard Steele too, but he probably saved that kid's life.
I don't think so. It was like 2 seconds left. He wasn't going to get to him. If he would have go back and look at the fight. If he lets that fight continue, the bell rings. It's over.
CJ wants some money, man. I know what that is. CJ wants some money on the fight. I already know what that is.
Yeah, he robbed him, man. He robbed him of that. I think he robbed him of that moment. I mean, because he lost his prime after that. He was never the same.
That hurts.
Yeah,
that's got to be the topic next time. Fighters that were never the same after a knockout.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, we'll do that. That'll be good to talk about guys who have lost their prime in the ring. That's definitely a good thing. But all right, fellas, unless you got anything else, I appreciate your time. My cousin Jason, my homeboy CJ. Enjoy the fight. If no one knows it, we're pretty much picking Canelo, all three of us. I view a stoppage. Jason, stoppage.
I got a later stoppage than you. I say round maybe 7. I say 7. I got to stop.
Oh no, I'm with you on there. I can see it being more of a. I don't think it's going to be early. I don't. Okay. I do agree with. I think his youthfulness is going to take him further than anything because this is a Super Bowl, like you said. They're building him up for this, so I think he's gonna go out guns blazing, especially since it's on Cinco de Mayo. I don't think he wants to go out like. Who's his trainer? Did anybody know? Oh, I forgot Freddie Roach's training now.
Freddie Roach.
So it's not like Freddie is going to throw in a towel. I don't think Freddie's going to throw in a towel. I think he's going to let him fight. CJ?
Same. I'm with you guys, man. 7 to 8.
It's going to be something, though. But thank you, people. Enjoy your weekend. I'm glad my boys was here. Tune in to us next time because we got a long stretch of a lot of great fights coming up. So,
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. All right, people. Have a good one. Thanks for joining us. Peace.